In the lively city of Benin in Edo State, Nigeria, lived a lovely couple named Uyi and Isokin. Uyi and Isokin shared a strong and beautiful love that was clear for everyone to see. Their bond was so special that it made their neighbors and friends admire them. People often talk about how happy Uyi and Isokin were together. They always laughed, held hands, and cared for each other. Those around them couldn't help but wish for the same kind of love in their own relationships, hoping to find that same joy with their partners. However, despite the happiness Uyi and Isoken shared, they considered their happiness incomplete. This is because they had no children. Uyi and Isoken have been married for 8 years and have been praying and trusting God for a child. Yet, the more they prayed, the more it felt as though God was moving further away from them and was not willing to listen to their prayers and plea for a child. Uyi and Isoken had attempted 3 IVFs and all failed. They had also attended many church programs and miracle crusades, yet no results. Isokin constantly watched every Christian miracle programs on TV. Amen, I receive, Isokin would always scream, responding to the prayers and declarations from the ministers on TV. Sometimes, she would place her hand to the TV screen in response to the prayers from the prayer program she is watching. Isoken was a staunch Christian and a strong believer of God. So, despite the constant advice and urgings she got from some people, especially her cousin Itonwa, to try fetish means to get a child, Isoken refused, standing firm in her faith in God that he would bless her with a child someday and remaining relentless in her prayers. And one day, Isokin discovered that she was pregnant. She felt sick and was under the weather for 2 weeks. She had only taken paracetamol tablets, believing that it was due to stress from constantly working herself out. But when she would not get better and began to experience constant nausea, she went to the hospital, believing that she could be suffering from malaria or typhoid and needed to get herself treated. However, when she got to the hospital and the test results for malaria and typhoid came out negative, a doctor requested her to also have a pregnancy test done. Isoken had had many pregnancy tests done in the past, which all came out negative. So, she had not been expecting much. It is the usual routine for doctors to request that a female patient also have a pregnancy test done whenever they are sick, just for proper diagnosis, Isoken said within her when she was taking the test. But when the test results came, it revealed that she was 6 weeks pregnant. Isoken didn't know how to react. "Doctor, are you sure? Please don't joke with me," she said, snatching the test result from the doctor to see for herself. "Yes, Mrs. Edosa, you are 6 weeks pregnant," the doctor said, smiling at her. Tears of joy streamed down Isoken's face. Finally, God has heard her cry. She went down on her knees right in the doctor's office, lifting up her hands and singing songs of worship as the tears still flowed freely. Uyi was elated when he received the news after he came back from work that evening. Together, he and Isoken danced for joy. Throughout her pregnancy journey, Uyi left the house for work late every morning, but would return early just to be with his wife and support her in every way. He was the owner and CEO of his car company, so he adjusted his working hours to suit him for this purpose. "Honey, you know you don't have to go to work so late and leave work so early because of me. Osas is here to help me with anything I need around the house, Isoken told her husband. No, honey, no. I will even take a leave if need be. As a matter of fact, I am considering doing so on the last month of your last trimester. It is our baby you are carrying in there, not Osas' baby, Uyi replied, smiling. Osas is their house help. Isoken smiled at her husband's words. Once again, she muttered words of thanksgiving to God for blessing her with an amazing husband like Uyi, and thank God again for finally blessing her with the fruits of the womb. The months spanned fast, and soon Isoken was in the last month of her last trimester. Uyi remained true to his words, supporting her every day and in every way, making Isoken glow even more throughout her pregnancy journey. Uyi went to work less during the last months. He wanted to take a full-time leave as he promised that he would, but Isoken encouraged him not to. So, he went only on Mondays, the beginning of every work week, and also only on Fridays at the end of every work week. He had competent men and staff, so he was sure that his business is in safe hands during that period. Congratulations, Mr. Edosa. Your wife has just been delivered of a bouncing baby boy, the doctor informed Uyi. Uyi was elated. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You are faithful and you are good. Thank you for blessing me with these gifts. Uyi knelt down in tears immediately he received the good news, after which he joined his wife and baby in the ward. The baby's naming ceremony was an elaborate one. This was 1 week after the birth of the baby. Aside family and friends, Uyi invited dignitaries, most of which were his wealthy business partners, customers, and high-ranking title chiefs. The ceremony was so elaborate that one would think that it was a dignitary getting married and not just a baby naming ceremony. The ceremony came to an end in the evening, and everyone retired back to their various destinations. Though Isoken was happy and loved every bit of the ceremony, she felt so tired and exhausted. She had had to greet and respond to greetings from the many guests and well-wishers who came to celebrate with them. The well-wishers had also brought a lot of gifts with them for the baby, aside from the huge cash gifts they also received. Isoken didn't bother checking the gifts that evening. All she did was had her bath, ensured that her baby got a bath also, and breastfeed him before she retired to bed. At about 3:30 a.m. that night, Isoken woke up to use the restroom. But as she passed by her baby's cots, she noticed that her baby was not in it. Isoken panicked, wondering where her baby had gone to. Did someone enter their house to steal her baby? She thought, with even much fear. Immediately, Isoken began tapping her husband, trying to wake him up and to tell him that their baby was missing. But even as hard as she tapped, Uyi continued to sleep. He did not even wake up, but kept snoring loudly. Seeing that her husband would not wake, Isoken left him and ran out of their bedroom to go look for her baby. As she got to the living room, what she saw made her paralyzed with fear. In the living room was a 1-week-old baby walking on his feet and laughing with a voice that sounded like that of an adult male. Isoken was so paralyzed with fear at what she had just seen. She screamed, fell to the ground, and passed out. A gentle tap startled Isoken awoke. She opened her eyes and saw that it was her husband. The brightness of the room and the piercing sun rays from the window made Isoken realize that it was morning. Honey, what are you doing lying on the bare floor in the living room? Uyi asked his wife. Honey, the baby. I saw him walking on his feet, Isoken said to her husband, still shaking. Oni, calm down. You were so tired yesterday, so you must have been hallucinating and sleepwalking, Uyi said, holding his wife tightly, trying to calm her down. Oni, I am sure about what I saw. It is not an hallucination. I tried to wake you up when I didn't see our baby in his cots, but you wouldn't wake. Then I came to the living room and saw him walking on his feet, Isoken said, trying to explain. Uyi let out a gentle laugh. Oni. Certainly you were hallucinating. Our baby is sleeping calmly in his cot. Follow me, come and see him, Uyi said, holding his wife's hand and leading her to their bedroom. And there the baby was, sleeping calmly in his cot, just as Uyi had said. Well, I guess you are right. I may probably have been hallucinating, Isoken said. The following day, Isoken was fast asleep when a voice of a woman singing woke her up. Isoken checked the time. It was just few minutes past 2 a.m. Is Osas okay? How can she be singing by this time of the night? More so loudly, she said with irritation. She picked up her phone and dialed Osas' number. Would you stop that stupid song you are singing? Can't you see that it is late and people are sleeping? Isoken said, scolding Osas over the phone. Ma, I am not singing, no. I was sleeping and it is your call that woke me up. Osas' voice came from the other end. Then who is singing? Which other female is in this house except you and I? Isoken asked. But ma, I can't hear anyone singing, Osas replied again. In anger, Isoken stood up from the bed to go warn Osas in her room to stop singing. As she was about to cross over to Osas' room, she noticed that the sound was coming from the living room. Isoken paused, wondering if they left the TV on. Then, she walked into the living room to check and to turn off the TV. But the sound wasn't coming from the TV. The TV was off. Rather, Isoken saw a baby standing on his feet again. He was dancing and singing loudly in a mature female voice. Isoken screamed and ran back into her room. She started tapping her husband, trying to wake him up. But yet again, despite how much she shook him, Uyi would not wake but continued sleeping and snoring loudly. Isoken sat up all night on her bed, shaking even though the singing voice later stopped. She wanted to go over to the cot to see if her baby was lying in it. But she was too scared to move. She remained in that position that way until the early hours of morning, when she eventually fell asleep out of exhaustion. She told her husband about it later that morning when they both woke up, and yet again, Uyi dismissed it as a mere hallucination. I think your hallucinations may be postpartum related. Don't worry. I will call Dr. Ejiro and book an appointment for you, Uyi said to his wife. All through that day, Isoken was scared to go close to her baby. It was the maid Osas who carried and attended to the baby when he cried. Isoken was also scared to breastfeed him, so she expressed her breast milk in a bottle for the baby to feed. Night came and there was sound of moving dishes, running tap and blender running. This time, it was Uyi who heard it first and woke Isoken up. Please go and tell Osas to stop. How can she be washing dishes and be busy in the kitchen by this time of the night? It is 2:30 a.m. Please tell her to leave whatever she has to do till morning, Uyi said to Isoken. Isoken froze when she heard the sound. Honey, I don't think it is Osasu. It may be the baby again, she said. Please, honey, don't be ridiculous. How can you accuse a few days old baby of doing such? Uyi replied. Oya, come see. Our baby is sleeping in his cots, Uyi said, pulling his wife towards the baby cots. But when they looked into it, Uyi was shocked to not find the baby in it. Honey, you see what I have been trying to tell you. The baby is not in his cots, Isoken said, shaking. Slowly, Uyi walked out of their bedroom, tiptoeing towards the kitchen. Isoken followed behind. Uyi opened the kitchen door gently when he got there, and there he saw their baby standing on his feet and on his stool, cooking over the stove. Isoken fainted when she saw that. Tell me, where did you get that baby from? Uyi asked his wife the next morning when she regained consciousness. Oni, what do you mean? Are you trying to accuse me of doing something diabolical to get the baby? Isoken asked. I have heard cases where desperate women do the unimaginable and fetish things in order for them to get children. So tell me the truth. What did you do to have that baby? Uyi asked again. Honey, how can you think such of me? You know me too well, and how long I trusted and waited on God to bless us with a child. You know my faith in God is unwavering. So how dare you accuse me of such? Isoken replied in tears. After what I experienced last night, I doubt that baby in there is from God, Uyi said, and stormed out of the house. Uyi came back late in the night. He was too angry, confused, and had many questions running through his mind. He had not wanted to return home, but he was not one used to sleeping outside his home. Also, he cared for Isoke even though he was angry with her and felt that she hadn't told him the truth about how she got their baby. Uyi and Isoke retired to bed that night, but they could not close their eyes. They sat up, afraid and worried that they might experience another strange event with the baby. At about 1 a.m., Isoke and Uyi started awake as they felt something strange happening. They had fallen asleep even though they had tried to stay awake. They woke up, seeing their bed flying in the air with them on it. Isoke and Uyi's eyes widened with fear. Hey, Oni, what is this? What is happening? Isoke said, all shaking. Help! Help! They started screaming. The door in the living room mysteriously opened on its own as they got close to it. The flying bird took them outside. When they got outside, they saw their baby down, standing on his feet once again, and was laughing so hard at them. Uyi and Isoke intensified their scream for help, but no one heard them, not Osas, and neither did any of their neighbors. The bird remained in the air and flew all night just within their compound until it was morning. As the day breaks, at about 6 a.m., the bird lowered to the ground and their baby disappeared back to his cots, sleeping soundly like it does every morning. No way, no way. There is no way I can keep calm about this, Uyi said. Immediately the bird got to the ground. He picked his car keys and rushed to their pastor's house, the pastor of the church they attend. An hour later, Uyi returned with their pastor, Pastor Agba. Pastor Agba carried the baby and began to pray. After praying for a few minutes, he received a word of knowledge in his spirit. He told them that nothing was wrong with the baby, but that the baby is being possessed and used by a strong spiritual force to torment them. He told them that according to what he had sensed in his spirits, Isokin had done something evil some months ago. A secret she had kept hidden from everyone and even her husband. And until she confesses and makes restitution, the torment will not stop. He asked Isokin to confess. However, Isokin denied that she has any hidden secrets. My dear, I beseech you to confess now. Make restitution and ask God for mercy. Else, I fear you may experience more worse torments than you have. And it will be unfair and a sin to subject your baby, which is God's gift to you, as a tool for the enemy's use, Pastor Agba said. Still, Isokin remained reluctant, unwilling to reveal whatever secret it was. This made Uyi angry, who shouted at her, but later pleaded with her, begging her to reason with them and speak up. Yet, Isokin would not speak. After about 30 minutes, Pastor Agba got tired and stood up to leave. Please, sir, wait. I killed a child. I killed a girl. I mistakenly hit a girl with my car and killed her. I was too frightened of what might become of me if the police and the parents of the girl found out. So I left the girl there and ran away, Isokin revealed. A few months ago, one evening, Isokin and her cousin Itwan were returning from an event. They were so engrossed in a discussion that Isokin was not concentrating on her driving. So, she mistakenly hit a young girl of about 9 years old. She had wanted to come out and help the girl, but Itwan stopped her. What are you trying to do? Itwan asked. To check if the girl is okay, of course, and take her to the hospital, Isokin replied. My dear, don't try it. Don't try it. Please reverse this car immediately before anyone sees us here. What if the girl is dead or ends up dying when you take her to the hospital? Don't you know you could be jailed and tried for murder? Would you want to go to jail in this your condition? So, after looking for a child all these years, and now that God has blessed you, you want to have your baby in jail? Iton said, convincing Isokin that they should run away. Confused and scared, Isokin listened to her cousin and reversed her car, leaving the poor, helpless girl there. The next day, Isokin discovered that the girl she had hit with her car was the daughter of a woman with a small kiosk in the next street. The girl had died and everyone knew she was killed by a hit-and-run driver, but no one knew who the driver was. This discovery made Isokin felt so terrible. She started having nightmares and had wanted to tell her husband about it. But once again, Iton advised her not to dare. She told Isokin that she was going to take her to a prophet who would pray for her and make the nightmares go away. They got to the prophets, who gave her a wooden carving and claimed that he had invoked the spirit of the dead girl into the carving. He asked Iton to tie the carving with a rope and bury it underneath the ground. Isokin did as the so-called prophet instructed. The nightmares stopped, and she believed that all they did with the prophet's instructions worked. So now, as revealed to Pastor Agba, it is the spirit of the dead girl who possesses their baby every night to torment Isokin and Uyi. Isokin had dined with the devil by covering up her sin and going to a false prophet, and now she was reaping the consequences. Pastor Agba asked her to go confess to the mother of the girl as a way to make restitution, and that even if the woman would report her to the police, it was better than covering up her sin. That afternoon, Isokin, accompanied by her husband and Pastor Agba, went to the woman in the next street and confessed to her crime. For a long time, the woman cried and said no word. Then, after a while, she spoke up. I forgive you, not because it is easy for me, but because no matter what I do, my daughter is gone forever. And because I want to experience peace myself, the woman said in tears. Isoke knelt down in tears to thank the woman, after which Pastor Agba prayed for the both of them. From that day, things went back to normal and their baby no longer acts mysterious at night. Oyi sent money and foodstuffs every month to the woman through a foundation as anonymous, as a way to somehow ease off her burden. The end. Hello lovelies, I hope you enjoyed this story. Please give this video a like if you did and share it with your friends and loved ones. Also drop a comment to share what you learned from the story. And if this is your first time of coming to my channel, or maybe you have been coming but you haven't subscribed yet, please do not leave today without hitting the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and see you again in my next video. Bye.